get yourself into whatever a comfortable seated position looks like and feels like for you today. Might be different to how you usually sit. There is always that option, that invitation, should you wish or need to sit in a chair. Just adjust this slightly. And just take a moment to notice how your body's feeling. Can we take an exhaling breath just to release out any breath that we're maybe clinging on to. And then notice the breath as it's coming in and then moving out. And being aware of how you are seated, how is your weight distributed through the contact points between your body and the surfaces that you're sitting on. How does it feel when you bring your posture into alignment, so the ears stacked over the shoulders, stacked over the hips, the pelvis is in a comfortable position so that we're not tucking the tailbone under, but equally we're not dropping into the lower back. Those ribs are tucked in. The chest is open with the shoulders back and down. The chin is slightly drawn in so the back of the neck's long. Noticing where your tongue is sitting in your mouth. So if it's drop down into the bottom of your mouth, see how it feels to bring the tip of the tongue up to the back of the top teeth and then slide the tongue back across the hard palate until you meet the soft palate, so where the palate domes up, and can we let the tongue sit there. That's going to help activate the muscles in your neck to help hold your head in postural alignment. It helps open the airways at the back of the nose so that the air can flow through the nose and down into the lungs. And think about sitting up in our posture rather than sitting down slumped into the body. And as you settle into that alignment, if anything needs to be moved or adjusted so that you can be more comfortable, please make sure that you make those movements and adjustments as needed. Let the back of the hands just rest on your lap with the palms faced up. And I want you to follow the breath as it moves into the body and follow the breath as it moves out. Observing whatever there is to observe with that breath. And then I want you to turn the palms over, still observing the breath, and notice if there's any change in the way the breath moves into the body. Is there a change in depth? Is there a change in location that the breath meets? Is there no change at all? And if you're not sure, after a couple of breaths, we'll turn the palms back over. And staying here for a couple of breaths. And then turning the palms back over again. And staying here for a couple of breaths. So just getting into a rhythm of maybe after 2 rounds of breath, maybe 3, changing the position of the palms from being face up to face down. Observing any subtle differences that you notice in your body, where all you've done is change that hand position. And it might be that you don't observe any difference, and know that that's okay. Let there be no right or wrong, there's no judgment, there's just curiosity. And then bringing the awareness away from the breath, away from the hand positions for a moment. And while I remember, we'll set our intention or goal that we want, that we usually set at the start of the Yoga Nidra practice, but I'm trying to remember to bring it into the very start of the yoga practice. So anything that you want to bring into your life, whether it's an intention, a goal, allowing that intention to come through intuitively, just without effort. If a word instantly comes into your mind, and then you're going to repeat a statement of I am, with whatever it is added on to that I am statement. And if there was nothing coming to mind, I am is your complete statement. So repeat that to yourself 3 times with feeling, awareness and certainty. And then when you're ready to, just maybe start to introduce some movement into your body in any way that feels intuitive, instinctive, nice. There might be shoulder rolls or head movement. There might be a lean forward to get a wee child's pose stretch. There might be a lean back to get an opening in the chest. There might be something else. And then we'll go into our hand and foot massage. So if you're wishing to use oil or cream, grab hold of that. If you need to take any jewellery off, pop it off. If you can get it off over your knuckles. Fingers are chubby today. So if you are using a cream or oil, it will drop on and then massage it in. If you're not using a cream or oil, you're starting to rub your hands together, generating a little bit of warmth. Now while you're doing this, check the shoulders haven't crept up to the ears and that we're still staying tall through our posture. So avoiding slumping in. And noticing how the hands feel today as you take that massage in from one to the other. Getting in around the wrists, the palm of the hands, the back of the hands, up each finger and the space between the fingers. What's showing up in your hands today? What have you been doing over the last week or however long it's been since you last gave yourself a hand massage? If you use hand cream, it might be something that you do regularly. If you don't, it might be something you only do when you come to class. But how are those hands feeling? How is that breath flowing? So start to link the fingers and run the fingers up the length of each other. And then noticing how the fingers are linked, communicate them all over to the other side and do the same thing. Might feel a bit awkward and clunky. And then let's link the fingers and give it a squeeze. Now as we're squeezing the hands, try and not squeeze the shoulders. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Then change the link of the hands and give it a squeeze. And alternate that another couple of times. A squeeze and release. Change the link, a squeeze and release. Change the link. And then taking the link to whichever's most comfortable, press the palms out. And then bring that in. And then press the palms out. And then bring the hands into prayer position just in front of you. Press the heel of the hands together, the pads on the hands the length of the fingers. Move the elbows out wide as you move the hands down in front, so getting this stretch in and around the wrist. Only come down as far as the heel of the hands stay together, the fingers stay long and it feels okay for your wrist. Bring that back up and then move that down. Bringing it up and moving it down. Bring it up and then take it to a place that feels quite comfortable. Hands far enough away from your body that you can rotate the fingers towards you. Rotate the fingers away, keeping the heel of the hands together. So getting this rotation in through the forearms. And then releasing that off, circling out through the wrists and give the hands a wee shake off. To adjust our positions, we can get to our feet. Maybe slide your trousers up a bit so you can get in around your ankle. When we're working in around the feet, there will be a lean forward in our posture. Try and avoid the slump. Think about keeping tall through the spine. Because we're having that lean forward, your head will be leaning forward, so very valuable to use the tongue in towards the roof of the mouth to help support the weight of your head coming forwards. So if you're using your oil or cream on your feet, massaging that in. And just moving your hands around your feet, noticing how your feet feel. So what's been going on for you since the last time you massaged your feet? What shoes have you been wearing? How much walking have you done or not done? What story are they giving you? Remember the top of the feet as well. Getting in around the ankle bone, the heel bone. Getting into the arches. And have a check that you've still got the breath flowing. Right, once you have massaged in well to your foot, let's go to each toe separately. Pull the toe long and get a couple of circles in each direction. Work your way across the toes. Once you've done that, start to slide the fingers between the toes. So like we did with the hands, where we're going up the length of the fingers, we're going to go in and up the length of the toes, warming that up so that we can create space in between the toes, getting this lovely stretch across the feet. And then can we slide our fingers in, taking the heel of the hand onto the ball of the foot, other hand to the back of the foot. Can we pull the toes long and then we'll ring out your foot. And then sliding the fingers out and going to the other sides. So make your adjustments to get to the other foot. Massaging that all in, getting it into the spaces between the toes, on the top of the foot, all over the sole of the foot, remembering in around that ankle and the heel bone. And then to each toe, circling around. And then starting to slide the fingers between the toes, getting that space, warming the foot up in preparation to stretch the toes out. And then as we slide those fingers in, bringing the heel of the hand towards the ball of the foot, other hand to the back of the foot, pulling the toes long, and then can we wring that out. And when you're ready to, releasing those fingers out. And then bringing yourself back into a comfortable seated position. If you can, sitting with your backside on the floor. If you need to, letting the backside be on a cushion. And can we sit up really tall through the back of the neck, and then pull the chin in. Think about where your tongue is on that soft palate. And then can we bring the chin down and unravel the spine, so going down the spine from the back of the head, down the neck, down past the breastbone, coming down through the waist towards the pelvis, let the pelvis rock under. So a little bit of seated cat and cow here. Round out the back, take a deep breath in. As you're breathing out, from that tailbone start to roll out. Come up the spine, restacking through the breastbone with the head coming up. And then lifting the head, so going back down the spine again, moving towards cat posture, bringing the hands back, so thinking coming down through the neck, through the breastbone, through the ribs, through the waist, and then lastly the pelvis tilting out. Take a deep breath in at your end point, and then from the tailbone working your way up the spine, coming back into the neutral position, and then from the head drawing the chin in, rolling down. So notice if your body tries to go into how it usually does this. So if your body usually moves from the middle of the body, because that's the easiest place to move from, try and block that and go in through the sequence. Noticing where your body's trying to find the path of least resistance. So if you're tight in the back, at any point the bits that have got more mobility are going to try and move first. Using that inhaling breath at the end, and then using the exhaling breath to rock the pelvis back, rolling up, coming back up through neutral, and then from the head working down, moving forward, taking the hands behind for a little bit of leverage, then bringing the pelvis forward. Using that inhaling breath, and when you're ready, from the pelvis, rocking up through the spine, back into neutral, and then from the head down. So we'll do this one more time each way. Really pay attention, notice the habits that you have in your movement. Using the breath, rolling back up through neutral, and just moving it at your own pace. So this will be the last one. Lifting the chin, working your way down the spine. Using that inhale at the end point, and then exhale, bringing it back into centre, into that neutral. So starting from the tailbone, coming up. Head coming in last. So when you come back into that neutral position, check in where your tongue's at. We're then going to do the spiral in, so same thing, starting from the head, working our way down the spine towards the tailbone, without rushing any of the movement, being really intentional, trying to knock each of those vertebrae off one at a time. So from the head, starting to turn. Maybe in your mind's eye, you're going down the spine, one disc at a time. Just allowing the arms to naturally move across and round, so we're not forcing anything. And then unravelling from the bottom up. And then going to the other side. So checking you're not holding your breath as you do this. Where do you want to inhale? Where do you want to exhale? And unravelling from the bottom up. And again, just notice where your body wants to jump ahead because it thinks it can get further round if it goes in a particular sequence. And off round again. And as you move into the second and third rounds, you might get further round, but it doesn't matter if you don't. Just look for the sequence. Can we use that inhale and breath to try and expand out into the body to create a bit more space between the bones? Maybe that allows a little bit more movement. We'll do this one more time to each side and there's no rush. So just that last time round. So if you remember which side you started on, finishing on the opposite. And if you're not sure, just making this one the last one. No worry. And when you come back into the centre, just taking a moment to observe how the body feels. How does the spine feel? Does it feel a little bit easier to sit with the tall posture? Are there parts of your body that you never noticed were feeling a bit tight or a bit sticky? Are there parts of the body that you knew were a bit tight and a bit sticky that have started to free up? We're going to bring ourselves over. We're going to move in and out of child's pose. We're going to go quite slowly with this. So let's take our knees quite wide. Bring the big toes together, sit the back side into the heels and then let the forearms come down to the floor. And we're going to start here. Now this might be as far into child's pose as you go, or you might allow your body, or your body might allow you to move a bit closer to the floor. What we don't want to do is we don't want to force it. We almost want to use the exhale and breath to allow the body to relax and melt in. So if you feel really comfortable here, you might edge the elbows forwards. And then just using that exhale and breath to soften the inhale and breath to create that space, to get that internal stretch. So the body can work out where it's safe for it to let go of the unnecessary tension with no speed, with no hurry. Notice as the arms are edging forward, if the backside starts to lift away from the heels, and if it does, can we just edge back, reconnect there. Just using that exhale and breath to let the body know it can let go of the unnecessary tension. And it might be that because of the size of your thighs or the shape or the length of your bones that your backside never connects to the heels. you're just checking in with the nervous system or just checking in with the tissue. Where can it let go to? So do another couple of breaths here, just allowing the body to soften and to melt in. And then we'll make the movement a bit more dynamic if you wish. When you're ready to, placing the hands flat onto the floor at a space that feels comfortable for you, that on your next inhale you can float up onto the hands and knees. And then as you're exhaling, sending the hips back. And then walk your hands off to the right, taking your head with it. And as you inhale, come up onto the hands and knees. And as you exhale, send those hips back. And then walk the hands off to the other side. Take your head with you. As you inhale, bring it up. As you exhale, send those hips back. Bring the hands back into the centre. And inhale up. Exhale back. We're going to slightly change this. We're going to inhale up. And then as we're exhaling, move the hands off to one side. And then as you're exhaling, send the hips back. On the inhale, bring it up. Walk the hands off over to the other side. And then exhale those hips back. So we've changed position at the top of the move. We've changed position at the bottom of the move. Might experience that differently in your body. I want you to keep moving around in the space that you've got, either from the bottom of the child's pose or from the kneeling tabletop position. And maybe try and place your hands into different spaces. So maybe one hand goes further ahead than the other. Maybe your hands cross off. Maybe you come further round, or maybe you don't go quite as far round. Just playing around with the different angles to see where you might be holding tension, and it's not always in these exact lines or movement twists and turns all the time, and sometimes at a particular angle there's an unexpected tension, and it might be that if you find a point that feels particularly tense, that you hang out there and use that exhaling breath to try and allow it to soften. Use that exhaling breath to tell the nervous system that this position that you're trying to go into, this movement, is intentional, and that you want the pliability to come into these spaces. And just moving at your own pace. And if it felt better for you to just be static in the child's pose, maybe that's where you stay. If that feels like a really good space, a really good position for you to be in. We'll do this for about another minute. Staying connected to the movement, to the breath. body too. Let's edge our way forward onto our tummy. And have your forearms in a position where the shoulders are down away from the ears, the shoulder blades are drawn back towards each other. Let's check in with the rest of the body. So where are your ribs at? We don't want the ribs digging into the floor, they should feel nice and flat and comfortable. We want the pelvis to be roughly in a neutral position, so we're not digging the hip bones or the pubic bone into the floor, with the toes pointed away, legs out nice and long. Just allow your body to settle into the floor, making connection through the front of your body and the floor, the forearms, pressing the elbows and the palms down. And then maybe on an exhale you start to move your face away from the floor. Maybe the shoulders lift a bit further away from the floor, maybe the chest, maybe the breastbone. We're not trying to get as high as we can here. We want to think about the spine lifting and staying long as we're coming up to avoid collapsing into the lower back. So you might be able to get up really high here, but you're just dropped into that lower back. So can we think about this length coming from the front of the body? You might press the legs down to help give you some support. You might draw the tummy muscles in to give you some support, and lowering that back down. So just lifting up to the space that feels right for you. Can we get that length in the front of the spine? And then the next time you come down, turn your cheek so that turn your face so your cheek's resting on the floor, and then slide the arms out so that they're in line with the shoulders. Just let your body rest in this cross shape. So whichever way your head is turned, so I've got my head turned to the left, bend that leg, so I'm bending my left knee to bring my foot away from the floor. I'm then going to take that left foot over to the right, letting the hips lift, letting the waist twist, so that I'm getting a bit of a stretch into the front of my right shoulder. And then gently roll that back. Turn your head to face the other way, and then going to bend the other leg. And then move that leg over so that the hip lifts, the waist twists, and come in so you get a bit of a stretch in that other shoulder. Bringing it down. If that felt okay for you to do, we'll do that one more time to each side. If that didn't feel okay, if that felt too intense or your ribs were getting squashed, then maybe you just lie with your arms out long, and that might be where you stay. And then when you come back to the centre, let's slide the arms in, bring the forearms in quite close. We're going to lift the ribs and the hips up away from the floor at the same time, so we're not collapsing into the lower back. Edging the knees in or the arms back, sending the hips back into child's pose just for a moment. Walking the hands back, rolling the spine up to come into a seated position. Now we're going to make our way over onto our back, but I want you to have any blankets, bolsters, cushions, anything that you need for the yoga nidra, have that close by so that when we go into that you don't have to get up and manoeuvre yourself around. And then let's make our way over onto our backs. And if lying on your back with your knees into the chest feels comfortable for you, bring the knees in. If it doesn't, have the feet wider than the hips and the knees rested against each other. We're going to rock the weight of our body down into the back. Separate the shoulder blades, have the back of the neck long. Use your inhaling breath to expand into the rib cage. Just rocking the weight from one side to the other. So you're maybe using your hands to pull the leg if your legs are in, so we can make the rest of the movement as passive as possible. Just the arms doing the work here. And then letting that weight settle into the centre, taking the feet down onto the floor. Let the arms go out wide, come into your twist, so knees go to one side, head turns to the other. Breathing into the available space in the rib cage here. Maybe bringing this top leg a bit further over if that feels nice. If it doesn't feel nice, maybe it feels better to take the top leg back a bit. On your next inhale, bringing the head and the knees through the centre. Take the knees off to the other side. Come into your twist. Breathe into that available space. What do you want to do on this side? Do you want to bring that top leg a little bit further over? Do you want to bring it a little bit further back? Depends what's going on this side. When you're ready, on an inhale, bringing it up through the centre, exhaling over. So we're going to move from side to side at your own pace. So you might do this quite dynamically, so you exhale over, inhale up, exhale over. You might exhale over and then hold here to take that top leg over further, maybe extend it out. Anything else that feels right here. And then when you feel ready to, you bring it up and take it to the other sides. And you might do something completely different on this side. Depends what you feel here, what needs stretched, what needs attention. Just going from one more side to the other, if you remember which side you started on, finishing on the opposite. There being no rush here. And then coming back into the centre. And from here, what movement is your body telling you that it needs? Is it telling you that it wants some shoulder bridges, in which case we can roll the spine away from the floor, up and down? Is it telling you that it needs some figure of four? Glute stretches. Is it telling you that it needs something else? Maybe you need to roll onto your side and bring the knee up to take hold of the ankle to get stretched through the front of the hip. Maybe it's telling you that it needs something else. Maybe it needs more twists. Whatever your body's telling you that it needs, give your body that movement. And it might need a little bit of all of it. In which case, honour that, do a little bit of everything. It might need to go back to a movement that we've already done today, or something that we haven't done. And then we're going to move towards Shavasana, into your relaxation. Only when you feel ready to, and you can keep doing the moves that you need if that's what you want. But when you're ready to, arms can either be away from the body, palms faced up, or rested on the body. Legs, if you've got lower back stuff going on, maybe you take the feet wide, let the knees rest against each other. Maybe if you've got pillows or bolsters and you want to support the back of the knees in that way, you can pop them under the back of the knees. Have the legs out long. If there's no back issues going on there and you have the legs out long, we all want our feet wider than the hips. And if your legs are out long, toes are flopped out to the sides. If you need any other pillows anywhere else in your body to feel supported, any blankets to get you cosy, to get you wrapped up, to feel warm and supported as we go through this Yoga Nidra guided meditation practice. Give your body what it needs. Get yourself cosy so that you can feel settled and undisturbed for the next 10 minutes or so. So let your body get settled in. Check in with your body from the top of the head, tips of the fingers to the tips of the toes. Is there anything calling for your attention? Does anything need to be adjusted or moved so that you can feel more settled as we go through this Yoga Nidra practice? And you make those adjustments as needed. So start to follow your breath as it's flowing in and out of the body. Allowing a sense of expansion with the inhale and a sense of letting go with the exhale. If it helps, bringing in coolness and calmness to spread throughout the body with that inhaling breath. And allowing your cares, worries, fears, judgments, angers, anything that you do not need or want to be holding on to, let it go with the exhale. Breathing in coolness and calmness. Breathing your cares and worries away. Allowing your body to become heavier and heavier as it becomes more and more relaxed. Have a sense of letting go. A sense of release. As the body becomes heavier and heavier. We'll take a trip throughout the body, allowing the mind to jump from one part to the next. We always start this practice at the right hand, bringing your awareness into the right hand, into the right hand thumb, to the second finger, the third, the fourth, the fifth, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, waist, hip, thigh, muscle, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, right toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, move to the left side of the body and to the left hand. The thumb, the second finger, third, fourth, fifth, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, waist, hip, thigh, knee, calf muscle, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, left toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, moving your awareness to the back of the body and to the back of the head where it touches to the floor. Back of the head, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, the spine, right buttock, left buttock, back of the right thigh, back of the left thigh, back of the right calf, back of the left calf, the right heel, the left heel. Next, move your awareness to the top of your head. Top of the head, forehead, both sides of the head, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, eyebrow centre, right eyelid, left eyelid, right eye, left eye, right ear, left ear, right cheek, left cheek, right nostril, left nostril, upper lip, lower lip, chin, jaw, throat, right collarbone, left collarbone, right chest, left chest, middle of the chest, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, the navel, right groin, left groin, right thigh, left thigh, right kneecap, left kneecap, right shin, left shin, right ankle, left ankle, right toes, left toes, the whole of the right leg, the whole of the left leg, both legs together, the whole of the right arm, the whole of the left arm, both arms together, the whole of the front and back together, the whole of the head together, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Feel the contact points between your body and the floor. Become aware of the natural flow of your breath as it gently moves in and out of the body. Notice the subtle expansion and contraction with each breath. Relax all efforts and allow to come to mind that intention that we set at the start of the practice. We're going to set that intention again in the same I am statement, repeating it to ourselves 3 times. So if you can't remember what that intention is, then know that it's fully cultivated in your life and use I am as your statement. And if it does come back to mind, repeat that intention again with maximum feeling, awareness and certainty. Relax all efforts. Become familiar with the position of your body, how it's lying on the floor. Start to become familiar with your surroundings and any sounds that you can hear, maybe from inside your building or from outside. Just gradually bringing your awareness back. So I'll leave you here now to spend as much time as you need bringing yourself back, and only when you feel ready to do you start to introduce some small movements into your body, maybe stretching yourself out, maybe hugging the knees in, maybe rocking about, maybe rolling over onto your side and resting there for a few rounds of breath. And only when you feel ready to do you sit yourself up and open your eyes. And then your practice of yoga and yoga nidra will be complete.